Lantern Cove has really taken us for a ride, hasn't it? This small New England town has taken our group of young people out of their ordinary high school life and led them to become detectives, vigilantes, protectors, warriors, and of course, victims of the evil that lies at its heart. And all of it has led to this one final dream, one final encounter with the strange powers at work here to decide whether the world will end, whether our universe will be devoured by the extraplanar monster that Sophie Scott is slated to become. And so, with such monumental stakes, it seems only right that I should pull back the curtain a bit to review the actions and results that have gotten you all to this place and what they mean for this encounter. First of all, you found and caught Brennan when he had only killed 3 of his 6 intended victims. So, Sophie Scott's original plan to empower this ritual only half worked, so your opponents in this encounter will have less abilities than they might have had. Second, you protected 3 of the 6 offerings from being replaced by their alternate universe doubles. That means that in the encounter that is to come, you will have only 3 opponents instead of 6. However, you did not stop or slow the influence of the forum that Aaron created, which allowed the dark alternates to gather a great deal of power, and they gained even more power when Gus pulled one of their anchors, the television show House on the Hill, into our universe. So your opponents will be extremely powerful at what they can do. But you scared the deep ones enough that they are starting their ritual days early, so the stars are only mostly right. As a result, it's going to take more effort for your opponents to reach their goal. Finally, it comes to me to mention the death of Gus. First, his mental death when he summoned Sophie Scott to express in his body, and then his physical death when said body was destroyed by thermite. As a result, you're one dream warrior down. Sophie Scott, whether she decides to help you or hinder you, no longer has Gus's powers, as Gus's brain is gone, and with it its connection to the Fae. She also has none of her own alien abilities in the world of the dream. She's just Sophie Scott, school counselor, until by your victory or defeat she becomes something more. That summarizes things pretty well. Everyone pull up your character sheet and go to your alter ego tab. Except for Sophie, you go to the tab that says just Sophie Scott, school counselor.
Amazing.
So now we go to our dream. You, as your alter egos, find yourself in a slick, animated cyberpunk city. There are no cars on the streets, as all the vehicles are aerodynamic flying cars that zoom high above you amongst the skyscrapers. The air is filled with a mild smog that makes everything just a little bit fuzzy, and there's an electrical hum just at the edge of your hearing, possibly from the neon lights that advertise things in what is probably Japanese, but in the nature of dreams is quite unreadable. For reasons that probably have nothing to do with anime, you can also hear drums in the distance. You stand in a wide alleyway between an office building and a restaurant, facing 3 individuals. At the front, assessing you with apparent contempt, is a tall anime woman. Her dark hair frames her angular face perfectly, and she wears a bodysuit which leaves little to the imagination, but also comes equipped with pouches that are probably full of weaponry and equipment. All of you recognize this as Shio Mikari, the character from Mirai no Kuraimichi, from which Erin got her name. She is a deadly assassin and the master of martial arts. Behind Mikari and to the left stands a tall, gangly orange puppet with abnormally large head, hands, and feet. For those who watch House on the Hill, this is Clumsy, a character who is said to represent the awkwardness of adolescence, and whose enthusiastic antics often end with knocking over things or people. It's Clumsy with a K and a Z, by the way, or a Z, depending on where your formative alphabet came from. To Clumsy's left is a purple-skinned rockubus with glowing red eyes. The symbol of the metal band Doomspawn, this demon is named Susie for some reason. She is clad in full plate armor and a sinister smile. It occurs to you that none of you have ever heard of Doomspawn or seen Mirai e no Kuraimichi, because these aren't real media in your world. But something, perhaps the nature of the dream, or perhaps the darker reality has started to merge with your own here in this place. In any case, something has allowed you to recognize them. Now, above table, here's how this is going to go. Your three opponents will engage with you and try to defeat you. This could be by combat, persuasion, intimidation, whatever. Every time one of you, other than Sophie, who can't be knocked out of the dream, only disabled, is taken out, Sophie Scott gets more powerful and more filled with the dark energy that will eventually evolve her into a beast that will devour your universe. Every time one of your opponents is taken out, Sophie Scott gets more powerful and more able to determine her own future. Now let's talk about fate points. As always, they can be used to tap aspects and to activate any stunts that require them. For everyone but Sophie, a fate point can also be spent to use one of your abilities from the real world here. You can spend a fate point to change the setting of the dream you're in to something more appropriate to your character, which will also allow you to set the scene aspects however you like, as long as it's appropriate. Finally, a fate point can be spent to bring in an ally, someone you're connected to in the real world who will be able to stay in the dream just long enough to do one thing before they're pushed back out. Any questions before we begin?
Nope.
All right. Okay. Then we begin. Mikari laughs that laugh that villainesses do in anime that... I can't do it. But... Yeah. You've worked hard, all of you. You should be commended. But you've come to the end of the road. Nothing will stop us from bringing our world back to us. I'm sorry, but we're gonna have to hurt you now. Clumsy just shrugs in what can you do sort of way. But Susie looks at Arachno Guy and says, I'm sorry, Clark. I just can't let it go even if it costs me everything. Now, in Fate, initiative is determined by notice score, but I've run the numbers on that, and as an initiative system goes, it sucks. Sorry, Evil Hat. Great game, shitty initiative. So we're going to do a popcorn initiative for this, where whoever goes passes it to whomever they think is the most dramatically appropriate of the people left. The first one to go is the one starting conflict, and I judge that to be Mikari. Mikari stares directly at Beatrice. She puts both hands out in front of her, and of course, a psionic katana appears in her hands. She snarls out, Oribu-san wa watashi o korusou to shitan desu, which is 4 semesters worth of Japanese for you tried to fucking murder me, bitch. I apologize to anyone listening who actually speaks Japanese, but keep in mind Aaron is a 17-year-old weeb, so my shitty Japanese is accurate here. That said, she is charging at you and attacking you with a glowing purple katana. Roll athletics if you're dodging. Alternately, someone can intercede, but interceding costs, you guessed it, a fate point.
I will roll to dodge, but as I do, I will also laugh in just like the bitchiest way possible. Just, oh, your accent is total shit, Aaron.
Hidden where it hurts.
Let's see. Oh, that is a total even roll. Cancel each other out, so it's just a fair.
Fair, alright. She rolled a great, so that is 2 steps of physical stress to you as she attacks.
With that, just like blood, like white blood from wherever.
Alright, so I judge the most narratively appropriate person to pass to here is Beatrice, unless anyone has a strong argument against that. Alright, to you.
I take the hit and just spit in her face. Bloody spit in her face, just like so dramatically over the top, because I also am a weeb, even though I'm in my Shakespearean form. And I'm going to... Even in your fucking dreams, you can't live up to this, bitch. And I would like to use a fate point to... So I would say, so why don't you just save time and wake the fuck up? I would like to use a fate point to use my stunt Kill Claudio to add a +1 to attempts to convince someone of an action. I would like to, with permission, with the spitting of everything, use Provoke as... Hell yeah. Let's go. Oh, fuck yeah. Okay, so that is a... So my Provoke in Beatrice form is superb already. And I get to add 3 to that. So that would be a legend?
Nice.
To convince her to wake the fuck up, you worthless piece of shit?
Alright, she defended with will and got a superb, so you got 3 steps above her, so she takes 3 mental stress.
Does that include the +1 from Kill Claudio?
That was with the +1 from Kill Claudio.
Okay, good. And since you got 3 shifts above, that lets you apply a boost, which is like it's like an aspect that you get a free tap on, and then it disappears once you've tapped it. So that's going to put her as I'm going to call it off her game.
Hell yeah. I am going to look at Arachnaguy and say, you can get her. Her meaning your lovely sister.
At that moment, Arachnaguy just looks over to Susie and says, "You don't have to do this. Mom and I love you no matter who the hell you are. Just back home. We'll find a way. There's other ways than this." Try to convince her to help us, rather.
Alright, you can roll a report for that.
And thankfully, Arachnaguy actually has rapport. Oh, screw you, dice. That's mediocre, because my dice hate me.
Okay. I was worried because I'd only gotten a fair defense, but nope. She just shakes her head. I can't listen to you right now. Alright, who do you want to pass to?
Arachnaguy's just punching his fist at hearing that, and just passes it over to Captain Anarchist.
Instead of the usual, like, riot shield and small arm and more like medic kit, this time Captain Anarchism is dressed like a real operator. He's got like a couple smoke grenades, a small arm pistol, and a small rifle. And he looks at Clumsy and says, "I never really liked you. I don't understand what your thing is." And opens fire.
I'm clumsy.
Good. I'm just so glad it's not Gritty. We can't fight Gritty.
No one can fight Gritty.
No one can fight Gritty.
Gritty is who Sophie Scott becomes if we fail.
A good +3 becomes fantastic. That's one above superb, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, fantastic.
Alright. Clumsy sort of staggers and like almost sort of drunkenly, and just the bullet just misses.
Awful. Captain Anarchism goes to like check his gun, make sure it's not jammed, and turns to
Give you a shiny little fate point if you pass it to me.
yeah, sure.
Alright, you get a fate point.
Sure, it's not gonna come back to haunt me.
Clumsy sort of half fell onto the floor, and he sort of stands up and shakes himself off in that weird way that puppets can sort of move their arms and wiggle it around. And oh my gosh, I can't imagine why that missed. And he sort of falls on you, Captain Anarchism. So he's making a athletics-based attack.
I used dodge, or not dodge. Wrong system. God, we went to
Athletics
Cthulhu.
athletics or fight are both optional for
Okay.
defending in a physical fight.
Nice. I took a +2 to a already superb. So that's what's the one above fantastic. I should know these already.
Epic.
Epic.
Okay, yeah, that he did not roll as well as that, so he actually falls to the ground instead of onto you, and I'm adding a boost on prone because you succeeded with style on your defense. Well, poop. I wish that had gone better for me, but I'm gonna toss it to
King.
King.
yeah, King's a good idea. I'll toss it to King.
Yeah.
Here, kitty, kitty, kitty.
Yeah, King is gonna see Clumsy fall prone and pop his knuckles. Then let's bring this fight to the ground. And is going to wrestle Clumsy and attempt to... Let's see, do I want to pin him or injure him? I think I want to go just straight for injury, because I don't want to be in the line of fire for Captain Anarchism. So I'm going to do the People's Elbow.
All right, sounds good.
I'm going to take that boost.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think I want to do a fate point, not on this roll.
Oh, the boost is free if you want to.
Yeah, I was seeing if I wanted to like throw in a stunt or anything like that. So that's a +6 to this roll.
Oh boy.
With I can do better than that. I'm gonna burn a fate point to re-roll that.
Okay.
There we go. That brings it to an epic.
Wow. Okay. You drop the People's Elbow onto Clumsy, and Clumsy takes 4 physical stress. Clumsy goes, "Oof! That's so weird. Why did you do that to me?"
To save the world. And I think hitting here, King, now kind of aware that he is also on the ground, is going to look at our other physical powerhouse to make sure that the team is covered and pass it over to the monster.
The monster is going to sees the action and decides that helping Olive not get fucked up is probably the best way to go here. Right now. So we'll run in that direction and try to restrain. I don't remember her name, the anime woman.
Mikari.
Yes.
Right.
Attempt to restrain. So that's fight.
Mm-hmm. That's a fight roll. For wrestling, you can also use athletics if you prefer, but
Is there any kind of boost because Makari's off her game?
yeah, you can use that boost for free, which gives you 2 points and 2 levels.
Okay. Even so, fantastic. Plus,
Great, superb. What's above superb?
The one above superb is fantastic.
Oh, That is a tie then, so that beats it. You do a physical stress. So she goes oof, but is not restrained.
Okay.
What is it with these alternate universes and oof?
I am then going to try to interpose myself between her and Olive, and then I'm going to pass it to just Sophie Scott.
This petite, young-looking, stylishly dressed counselor kind of just like very feebly walks in, kind of peers her head around the action. Aaron, is that you? Kiddo, you gotta wake up. You're having a nightmare.
You could call that deceive, but I think rapport works fine for that.
Well, that's great. I'm gonna do that because I can use my empathy on rapport rolls to make mental attacks. Snap back, okay? Snap back to reality. Whoops, there goes gravity. That's a superb.
Looking to see if there's something cool that I could tap for this, but no. 2 mental stress on Mikari. She looks confused for a second and shakes her head and says, "You can't fool me like that. Who the hell are you anyway?"
I'm your guidance counselor, Sophie Scott. Look, and I turn her direction towards the rest of the gang. Look, these are your classmates. Okay, you kiddos need to calm down. I'm gonna pass it to you, Sarah.
Susie is standing there in her armor, looking cartoonishly angry, and she pulls out a electric guitar and starts riffing it, and the flames of hell rise from the ground to try to envelop.
King is actively on the ground. Yeah.
Be king.
I'm gonna try and action movie roll away from the fire as it's erupting up. Perfectly on pace with the fire for drama.
All right, superb over here.
Superb over here.
You roll out of the way of the fire just in time to not take any stress. The flames are, of course, in a little pentacle. It's very heavy metal. So we're gonna go back. Who wants it most? Arachne guy wants it. Go for it.
All right, since King just rolled off, Clumsy. Is Clumsy still on the ground?
Yeah.
Okay.
Doesn't have the boost anymore, but yeah, still on the ground.
Gotcha. Well, dark desperate times call for dark desperate measures, and he's going to shoot a web at Clumsy's head and try to attach it to one of the cars floating off.
I love the puppet motif.
Go ahead and give me that shoot roll.
Please behave, guys. That's an epic.
You get that. You get it on his head, and the other end attaches to a flying car far above, and it starts to pull and stretch, and Clumsy starts to stretch way back. It's very cartoonish. It looks like body is made of spandex or rubber, and he's just like, whoa.
Just standing there in awe, like, what?
I'm giving him the boost stretched out, and you have done physical stress as well. Okay, who's next?
I'm gonna throw it back to you, sir.
Ooh. Yeah, I gotta stick with Clumsy because this is just so dramatic right now. He's being stretched out. So what he's gonna do, he's going to take his big furry hand and make it into like finger scissors and use that to cut the web and fling himself like a rubber band just being snapped. His head is going to come at you, Arachno guy. And that is, I'm going to tap So Clumsy, which is one of his aspects. And so that is a legendary.
What do I have to roll to dodge?
You could do either fight or athletics for this.
All I got is superb.
Herb, okay. Clumsy is 3 above that. So you're taking 3 physical stress, and there is a boost on you. You can call it whatever you want.
I have a pitch.
I'll hear it.
Since he's in this like rubber mode, I think it'd be hilarious if he rubber banded like around you, and so you're tied up.
That would work for me. We'll move it to. Let's go to Captain Anarchism.
I will see Clumsy on the ground.
Well, he's wrapped around Arachna guy right now.
Yeah. I think I'll just go to like take the butt of the rifle and try to like hit him in the face off of him. And, like knock him off. Arachna guy. I think he's gonna say to Arachna guy, duck, and just like over to the side of his head, start swinging, and that'll be a fight roll. I'm rolling hot tonight. That's a 3 plus a superb. So legendary.
That is 1 better than the epic that I got. So that is 1 physical stress on Clumsy. So Clumsy, you hit his fuzzy little head and it dents in for a minute and looks kind of cute, and then it pops back out.
You sick fuck. That's it. That's all I got.
Sarah, I think you and I have different definitions of what cute looks like.
And then I will turn that to who makes sense. Sophie, your weird situationship needs to get out of this dream. Get Clumsy the fuck out of here. Because we don't know it's not Gus, right? We gotta think it's still Gus. Atticus doesn't know yet that he murdered his acquaintance.
Acquaintance?
You describe friendship to me and then say that Gus and Atticus are friends.
His business associate. Come on, Sophie.
Okay, so Sophie kind of just like raises an eyebrow and is looking at this puppet stretched around this Arachna guy. I think Sophie wants to help somebody else, like support. So she's gonna go up to the monster, and she's gonna rest her hand on the monster's back, and she's gonna say, "Hey, Freya, kiddo, you know, we didn't get a lot of talking done our last session. I just wanted you to know that you're loved and supported, and you could do it. You could do anything, even kick all these guys' asses." I want to try to boost her up.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead and you can do a report for that.
Okay.
And you get through to the monster.
Can I get through? Ooh, that's a good. just a school counselor.
You are. It's true. So good is enough to create a temporary aspect on the monster of you can do it.
You can do it. And I'm going to give it to you. Let's go, monster.
Go, monster. It's your birthday.
Go, monster, go.
Freya is having there's like a moment of still feeling like Freya, still feeling like Sophie like killed her friend. So it takes a moment out of her, but she recuperates quickly and does it and punches this anime lady in the fucking face.
Punches in the fucking face.
Which got a super. Oh wait, what does you can do it do?
If you tap it, it'll give you 2 extra shifts.
Yeah, I'll do that. So it's 2 more than a superb.
Epic.
Legendary.
Legendary. Love it. She only got a good, so...
Oh no, you're right. It is epic. It is epic. Yep, I forgot.
I was like, do we have a
fantastic.
different
I
ladder?
forgot fantastic.
How could you?
I'm sorry. I had all the mediocre white guy confidence when I said that too. Like,
Alright, so that's 4 stress, and we'll give it the boost of...
Mild concussion.
Concussion's a good one, yeah. Concussion. Because you hit her hard, and she goes flying back into the concrete wall of the restaurant and shakes her head, and you can actually see little like anime lines around her head showing that she's a little bit messed up.
And of course, I will pass it over to you.
Marvelous. Mikari wipes the blood off of her face, raises her hands again, the katana forms, and she charges the monster. And I'm going to tap Unstoppable Assassin, and that means that it is a legendary roll. You may defend with fight.
I got a fair.
Okay.
oh no.
Alright, that is a 6 shift difference.
You can use a fate point to re-roll.
I'm gonna review that.
Okay.
Otherwise, you die.
Yeah. Okay, I got a legendary this time with 4 pluses.
Oh, legendary. Okay, well then that meets it, beats it. So you will not take any damage. Good use of a fate point there.
Grabs the katana.
Beautiful. So we're gonna pass this to Beatrice.
Beatrice is watching all this happen and just getting more and more mad. And as the monster is holding the katana in their hands, just looking so anime as fuck, she just walks around and gets into Mikari's face and says, "You better hope." She goes British because of Emma Thompson in the movie Much Ado About Nothing, which is where this all came from. "You better hope that you wake up before I do, because I'll kill you in real life." And I would like to roll a provoke.
Absolutely.
Just hear from the back of the alley. She'll do it. She'll do it.
All right.
Just ask her mom.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's not. It wasn't as. Oh wait, hold on. Let me see. It wasn't what I was hoping for, but that's okay. It's just a good.
She only got a fair. I rolled poorly on her defense there, so you do 1 mental stress.
She's grinning too. She's got nothing fucking left. She's like, I will kill you.
Yeah, you see her. We get like a dramatic close up of her eyes, just sort of narrowing, like, oh, shit got real.
And grinning, she's going to, King, you good? I will pass it to Bastion.
Just trying to reel in this cartoony bastard. I'm gonna grab Clumsy's feet, and since he is so stretched out, I'm gonna try and just like wrap him, like, basically I want to turn him into noodle, like just thin, like wrap him, stretch him out as much as I can, just around my fists. Just it's a visual gag which works really well on podcasts, but that's what I want to do.
Absolutely, that sounds like athletics to me.
All right. Could I convince you that it's fight?
Yes, you can. You're a wrestler, it makes sense.
Yes, very normal wrestling move.
Yeah, that's how you wrestle, right?
It's how you wrestle a fucking Muppet, yeah. Trademark infringement, sorry, Henson.
That would be...
You gotta say it in a British accent to not get the trademark. A fucking Muppet.
A fucking Muppet.
And I have to use a fate point for stunts, too. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna have to take this. I got a great.
You got great. So did Clumsy. So you start to roll them up. And
How much of you is there? Jesus Christ!
There's just so much Clumsy. There's just so much Clumsy.
I will kill you in real life, too.
Meanwhile, Arachne Guy's like just spinning in place, trying to unwind it. Oh, trust me, get in fucking line.
Clumsy.
All right, I'm gonna pass it back to you.
Susie will set out a sweet riff on her axe, and the entirety of the stretched out puppet lights onto fire. So everyone interacting with it will please roll an athletics to try to get away and not be harmed.
All right.
I hate to do this to myself, but since I'm entangled, do I have like some sort of disadvantage?
The boost against you.
You're gonna use the boost against you, yeah. So you don't have to take that as a disadvantage. I'm adding that to my roll.
Got it.
Oh, I forgot to use the boost on Clumsy for stretched out. Okay, I got a legendary. I'm gonna have to burn a fate point for it.
Ooh. I'm burning my free fate because I got 3 negatives, so...
So did I.
I am also going to reroll because, believe it or not, guys, I also got 3 negatives.
Oh,
That's
jeez.
crazy.
Wow.
What are the fucking odds of that?
Right? Fucking crazy.
We use athletics to try to get out of this?
You can use athletics or fight. Either one's fine by me.
Oh, I'm definitely going fight because that is a super +2 fantastic.
So my dice decided to be quirky on the last episode. I'm just going to do this because even though we don't have folks at home that can actually see us,
Arachne Guy, no.
that's the 3rd time today. 3 in a row. At negative. 3 negatives.
That make your roll.
That makes my roll mediocre.
Oh.
You're about to get set aflame.
So Arachne Guy, that is 5 levels of physical stress. So that's probably more than you've got, so you're probably gonna have to take a consequence.
Yeah, that's more than I've got.
Yeah, so you would want to so you would need to take a consequence. Basically, you would use a consequence to absorb that, and it's like an injury or something like that. It becomes an aspect on you for a while.
Okay. I'd say a third degree burn would probably impact my athletics.
Right, so you have a third degree burn. Captain Anarchism did fine with their roll, so did not get hurt. King, did you?
I got a legendary.
Oh, so you are also all right.
Just like trying to stretch him out to outrun the fire.
All right, so we are back to the top of the round. Who wants to start us off?
Captain Anarchism takes a flask of Everclear out of his camo jacket because he's drinking now. This is where we're at in the story, guys. He takes this flask of Everclear and splashes it, like pours it from Arachnaguy's burning body to Clumsy to try to light him on fire.
All right.
Or I guess I'll just pour it all on Clumsy and then just kind of take the other end of Clumsy that I would imagine I was holding and put it on the embers that is Arachnaguy.
Isn't he still wrapped around me?
Yeah, I'm taking the parts that are not
Okay.
wrapped around you. I imagine King's got you like got Clumsy like halfway off, unraveled. So I'm taking that end, and I'm just like making a fire that's going to spread to both of my allies eventually.
All right. Trying to think of what the role would be for that, and I just
Crafts.
It's got to be crafts.
yeah, you can do crafts, sure.
I'm going to use a fate point to use Atticus's crafts.
Okay.
Okay. Keep rolling hot for me, baby.
Final battle, absolutely using crafts.
Yes, bitch. That's epic. That's one above. Oh no, sorry, superb. I forgot our regular sheets are not. They're a shift down. So it's a superb.
So you pour the alcohol on the freshly burning puppet. There is the terrible smell of burning felt and the terrible scream of "Oh, oh."
Oh, I'm so clumsy.
That's it, right there. That one.
I used to be able to do a really good evil anime laugh, and I'm so bummed that I don't think I can do it anymore.
It was only superb. It was a shift down. I forgot our Atticus sheet. Our regular sheets are a shift down.
Well, a shift down from epic would be fantastic.
Oh, then it was a fantastic, and it's a shift down to superb. I'm illiterate, and I can't do math.
You are great. You're fine.
Yeah, I know. That's why it's okay that I'm illiterate, because I'm fine. I'm just kidding.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I try to burn Clumsy, and eventually King and Arachnaguy again.
Oh yeah, so Clumsy is now on fire and screaming in the terrible way that puppets scream.
Captain Anarchism takes a big swig of the Everclear to finish it off and says, I'll piss on your ashes when you're done. And looks towards Beatrice and says, I loved you in Love Actually.
Beatrice is not breaking eye contact with Makari because this is her main focus, and will continue to batter at her mental health, and just kind of again smiling says, do you smell that? Do you smell the burning? That's coming for you. Do you want to stay in this dream? Is this what you want? Is this where you want to be? Anime girl? Provoke!
Yeah, you're provoking, all right.
Yeah, I had to kill my mom. So, all bets are off, baby. That is a superb.
All right, that is another mental stress. She already has the first 3, so that's a 4 on her mental stress. Her mental stress is almost full. She's about to go to consequences if you keep this up.
If she has a concussion, that
Oh,
You can use concussion. You can use that.
yeah. I will use that, so that moves it up to epic.
So then her mental track is full. She still has consequences left, but her mental track is full. So who's next?
I think Beatrice, for the first time, breaks eye contact and looks up and just grins at the monster and says, "You want to go, love?"
Yeah. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna try to pin her down. Like, I'm already in one of those, like, melee combat. I'm just gonna try to grapple and pin.
Who are you grappling?
Sorry.
Master Assassin of the Shield Clan.
Just be like, and I am basically just like, you are going to be here for this mental battery.
All right. Yeah, go ahead and give me a fight roll to grab her.
I got a super.
I am going to have Unstoppable Assassin to reroll this. Okay. What did you get again?
Superb.
Okay, that will grab her and hold her, and also does 1 physical stress. Okay. All right, you got a hold of her. She now has the boost held.
I will pass it to her.
Oh, okay. All right. All right. She is going to attempt to escape. So you can roll either physique or athletics to keep a hold of her. And she gets an epic.
And she's got that boost against her for being held if you want to use it immediately.
Yeah, I will, which will put me at superb again.
Okay. She actually managed to squirm out, but does not get to do anything else this turn. So I'm going to pass it to. Let's go to Sophie.
Sophie's going to take out a notepad and start to jot something down on it. And she's going to go up to Mikari and she's going to say, Aaron, I'm concerned about you. Before our next meeting, I wrote some things down. I want you to work on them. And she's going to tear off the paper and give it to Mikari. And it says, you're not safe here. Wake up.
Okay.
Try to rapport her for some mental attack.
Yeah, absolutely.
Here we go. That is a superb. And you know what? I'll burn a fate point to add 2 to that. Make it a fantastic tap my aspect school counselor.
Okay, she is going to take a moderate consequence. It's called, wait, is this real? All right, who's it going to?
It is going to go to. Let's give it to our clumsy, our Dustin Fiery Boy.
Okay. Saying, oh no, I'm on fire. But he's saying it in an adorable puppet voice that's creepy because he's on fire in a puppet.
No, I'm on fire.
Yeah, like that, but with my voice.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is going to try to like pull himself together and pop back to a normal, unstretched method, all while squeezing the hell out of Arachnaguy as he does so. So he is rolling, and Arachnaguy, you can resist with either athletics or physique.
I got a good.
You take 2 physical stress as Clumsy. It's like if you had a little like sticky hands that you can flip against the wall. It's like you stretched one of those out and it just like suddenly snaps back into shape. So that was Clumsy, and we'll give it to Chris.
King looks enviously at the bottle of Everclear that is now empty.
To be clear, it's a flask.
Sorry, the flask of Everclear. But is Clumsy still wrapped around Arachnaguy? He unwrapped himself?
No longer. He has unwrapped himself.
Great. So now that I have him,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna start slamming him into the ground as violently as I can, as I assume he's attempting to unravel from me.
Okay. Slam him.
Get slammed, nerd. Really? The dice are just not kind. That's only a great.
He got good. So that's physical stress onto Clumsy. And that fills his physical tracks. All he has left is consequences.
Why won't you die?
I'm just too goofy to die.
No!
Wrong IP.
And I'm gonna pass it back over to you.
That gives us Susie again. Okay, and she is going to walk over, and you can hear the massive sound of the armor clanking as this giant armored demon walks over, and she is going to raise her fingers in a triangle in front of her and mutter some incantations and try to light King on fire.
Don't like that. I'm gonna try and duck, dodge, weave out of the way. Alright, that's a fantastic.
Yeah, she got one above legendary, so that is succeeding with style. So you take 3 physical damage as you are on fire, and you take a boost of on fire.
Yeah. I think thematically y'all actually see King react slower to Susie. Like hesitant to engage with her.
Arachnaguy.
I've been burned. I've been beaten. And honestly, not gonna lie, Susie, a little bit emotionally scarred. I love you. I do. No matter who you think you are. You're still my little sister. You know who else loves you? I'm gonna use my last fate point. So does Mom.
Oh.
I'm calling Mom.
I'm bringing Mom into this.
All right, you spend that fate point. How does your mother look when she comes into the dream?
I think she looks like her, but dressed as Wonder Woman.
Wonderful. What do you think she does as Wonder Woman?
Goes out the lasso of truth.
Absolutely. I'm going to give her a little roll. And now I'm going to give Susie a defense. Okay. So your mother whips out the lasso of truth, lands it around her, pulls it tight around this big, muscled, armored demon. What do you think she says?
You see what you're doing to your family. What would your father do?
Ooh, okay, so
And I throw it back to you, Sarah.
yeah, that's a lot of mental stress on Susie there. She's crying a little bit. He wouldn't want. You just don't understand. And she stomps her foot, and at this point, your mother disappears from the dream world. Susie stomps her foot, and flames rise up from where she stomps and go to. I'm gonna have, because she was so affected by this, I'm gonna say that she's attacking where your mother used to be, and so it's not effective against anyone actually here. But she screams and flames erupt and around where the image of your mother was. So who wants it next?
I will go.
Excellent.
Olive Beatrice is just hearing all this, but again has been focused solely on Makari. And just as a reminder, are all boosts evened out on her at this point?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah, okay.
But she does have the consequence.
She has the consequence.
Is this real? Yeah.
Okay, so how does that work in, like, can I utilize that? Would I have to use a fate point to utilize it, or is it just...
There's one free invoke, and then after that you have to use a fate point.
Okay. I would like to invoke that because, again, I'm getting into her face and saying, none of this is real. Honestly, like, look around you. Do you honestly think you're safe? You can smell the burning. You can hear the screaming. Do you honestly think, are you that stupid? Wake up. Yeah, so again, try to provoke.
Provoke? That's a provoke if ever I heard one.
Not great. So, well, in fact, it's so not great, it is great. Not what I was hoping for. It's just great.
Alright, well, she rolled a good, so you're still one above, which means she does take a mental stress. She's got her mental stress track full, so she takes a mild consequence of unsure of herself.
Alright,
All she has left is a severe consequence.
so, yeah, I think, because I'm in her face, I will pass it back to you.
Alright, Mikari turns and faces you, and she says, I don't even care if it's real anymore, because you never were. And she is making a psionic attack against you, because she has psionic powers here in this world.
So what would I roll against that?
Will.
Sarah's showing she's a real, true AD&D OG, bringing back psionics in a different system.
Alright, she got a fantastic.
Yeah, no, yeah, I'm gonna use a fate point to reroll because I rolled like dog shit. So that's it for me. No more fate points. Alright, not much better. Okay. No. So it's fair. So it's bad.
That's 4 shifts, so that's 4 mental damage. 4 mental stress.
Cool. With that, her eyes, it's like the anime thing of like the eyes just kind of go big, and the giant anime tears start to gather, but they don't quite, and she just laughs and she says, I don't fucking care anymore.
Alright, Sophie. Go.
Sophie Scott's gonna go up to Aaron Mikari, rest a hand on her shoulder, and lean in and whisper something into her ear. Very quietly, she says, I really shouldn't say this to a student, but nobody wants you here.
Oh, fuck.
I'm gonna do a mental attack.
Yeah, that's a real attack, all right. Damn.
It's effective.
Super effective.
I'm gonna use a fate point to reroll. Okay. That is a fantastic.
Well, Mikari falls to the ground dramatically, and as she falls, she changes into just an ordinary, non-animated teenage girl. This change brings along with it a release of some sort of dark fog, which is drawn into all of you, and you feel for a moment the anguish of this girl, desperate for identity in a world that doesn't seem to understand or want her. And then it's gone. Sophie, the feeling of hunger that has been gnawing at you is reduced, and you feel somehow more free, as though a restriction has been loosened. Aaron's form goes fuzzy and then is gone entirely from the dreamscape.
Let's go. Is it still the anime world, though? Does that change?
No, it's going to change. Let's change it to...
My god, what is Clancy's world? I don't want it.
Oh god.
I thought, can we use a fate point to change the dream world?
Yeah. Yes, you
I
can.
have 3 fate points. Can I jump in?
Yeah,
I'll pass it to you.
change the world.
Save the cheerleader. Save the cheerleader.
I think the dream that you see for Atticus is we are now in an art gallery. But it's not just it's like very much like contemporary art. And it's very much like Atticus's art. So there's like these like there's a fucked up monster looking like bird woman that's like 6'7", statue somewhere in the middle, right, made of like scrap metal and welded. There's a guy in there's King. It's King essentially, but with a lacrosse stick and a helmet, but the cat ears are like coming out of it. There's just like a whole section of there's like a whole wall where like in the relief is a bunch of like poetry from like Emily Dickinson and Sylvia Plath and what's her name that wrote Handmaid's Tale,
Margaret Atwood.
Margaret Atwood. And in the relief is Freya reading a book. And then in like the centerpiece of the show though is a van, a big dumb van, and instead of a giant wizard shooting lightning out of his hands, there's 6 awkward teenagers. It looks like they're hiding around the van. Like it looks like they're hiding on the side of the van, and one of them has a wrench, and it looks like they're aiming it for the tire. And so, yeah, and there's like other little Easter eggs in there. And while that happens, Captain Anarchism is lighting a cigar. It takes a full minute, just so everybody knows. As the dreamscape's changing. And I think he goes to try to like sneak around a wall to get Susie. And then he sees over Susie's shoulder a picture of a young, awkward boy with a Beyblade in his hand, and and a man that looks a lot like Atticus standing over his shoulder. and instead walks up to Susie and says, "Hey, kid. I know this world isn't yours. I know you probably didn't ask for this. But you got a pretty good thing going. And you can ruin it all for everyone, or you can have the best fucking mom and brother anybody could ask for. You don't want to be here." And I'm hoping that's either rapport or empathy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, be a rapport.
Rapport. Okay. That is just a it's a superb.
Well, she did not roll well. Not an average. So
Can I change the scene aspect?
yeah,
Because I changed the location, right?
absolutely. The scene aspects are now yours.
It's gonna be family first, then murder. And I would like to invoke that and use my second. I pull in a Cam Koshkum. Gonna go use 2 fate points in a single turn. And invoke that to bump that up a couple shifts.
Yeah.
You said this was rapport? Or
Yeah.
can I help by looking at Susie, taking a few steps forward, and holding up, and taking off?
Oh. Take off the mask. Hold out your hand. And that... I rolled poorly. You rolled not poorly. She shakes her head as though she was trying to clear it, and then her eyes seem clear as she looks at you, and she says, "I'm sorry about all this."
Okay. Just come on.
The demon falls to the ground in a loud clatter of armor, and within that armor you no longer see a purple demon, but Clark's sister Angie, unmoving. A black fog surrounds her and then drifts away from her and into all of you. You feel for a moment the pain of a girl who knows she doesn't belong, who suspects that her whole existence is a burden on the people she loves. The feeling lasts only seconds, but is so poignant that it leaves its memory indelibly etched into your minds. Sophie, the sort of ravening hunger that has been in the back of your consciousness ebbs somewhat, and with its withdrawal, your mind clears and sharpens somewhat, letting you better envision a future that you create yourself, rather than being used to devour worlds. With a brief flash of light, Angie is gone.
Oh, wow. We gotta keep doing that.
I think Atticus feels that very powerfully and sees a future where he wakes up and finds Clark's mom and makes it work for a couple years and like keeps in contact and then like accomplishes all the things he wants, and he sees this like art gallery as like a potential for that future. And then like as Angie fades, feels like that dream fades with her and realizes he has no intention of waking up. And as Sophie Scott says, we should keep doing that. Captain Anarchism turns to King and says, "Shred the fucking puppet."
Enough family. Now it's time for the murder. And yeah, I think King, after like having slammed, he's probably pretty unraveled from King's like paws at this point. So I want to take him and pin his head under the front tire of the van and just not just start clobbering him, but I think that there's like a new challenger approaching, and I'm going to use my last fate point to tag in Jess as her Tekken character, Jin, as we just pummel this guy and keep him attached to that tire head first if we can't finish him off.
Absolutely wonderful. So yeah, Jin Kanzama comes in assigned to you, and you both start pounding on Clumsy.
Not so fucking clumsy now, you piece of shit puppet! And I'll go ahead and I'm going to finally use his stretched out. As I don't think he's able to resist the pinning because he is still so loosey-goosey.
He's so loosey-goosey, you're right.
That is a fantastic +1, brings it to an epic. Yeah, an epic. So that's a +7 total on my roll, not including anything that Jess gives me or rolls on her own. If this kills him, then I think that she does it.
Yeah.
I think that she starts beating him until he's good and pinned, and then she gets in the van and just starts gunning it tire just pulling him. I think it starts just melting his head and then pulls him around and around and around until he does actually become a just long skinny noodle just wrapped around this tire a million times.
Clumsy is wrapped around the tire of a van and sort of springs out as this just mess of coils of puppet that are just torn into pieces and just collapses on the ground as the proverbial puppet with cut strings. And then where he fell, there is only dust, and a dark fog rises from where the boy lies, and it moves as though blown by some unseen wind into your bodies, and you feel for a moment the lonely isolation of a misfit who wants so painfully to be liked and accepted as he is, but can't seem to stop being awkward and abandoned. And then the feeling fades into the background. Sophie, the hunger in the pit of your stomach is assuaged, and you feel a sense of agency as though a door is opening to future possibilities that you hadn't been able to see. Dustin's form fades away from the dreamscape like a bad special effect. And so, against all odds, our little ragtag group of team heroes has saved the world. Not without cost, for indeed you've all paid a heavy price, but the sun will rise tomorrow and the next day and onward as days continue. People will wake up, brush their teeth, and start their days full of joys and tragedies, never knowing how close they came to the end. The deep ones have failed to bring about their apocalypse, all thanks to 6 high schoolers from Lantern Cove. But will our heroes ever lead happy lives again after the horrors they have suffered through here? Keep watching this space for the epilogues that I imagine you're wanting to hear. I know I certainly am. Thank you for sticking with us through this wild ride. You matter. The things you do every day matter. From all of us at Lantern Cove, take care and goodbye.
Goodbye.
We did it.
Ah.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Fuck.
There's a hole at the bottom of the cove with a bunch of fish people.
Does anybody know a resurrection spell?
Gus. Ooh.
Oh no.
Sophie might.
Maybe. That's an epilogue, baby.
Is Chris's dad the only dad that survived this?
Gus's dad's right.
We don't know
Gus
what's
has
up
a
with
dad.
Freya's.
Oh yeah.
I didn't have a dad.